My name is Erin, and I'm the director of the department's brand new professional master's program in medical genomics. So I'd like to just tell you a little bit about what we're trying to do with this program today. So before we launch right into talking about the program, I'd like to just talk about the field for a few minutes to situate you guys. What is medical genomics? So genomics, or the ability to understand, interpret, and harness the information that's contained within DNA, is a really rapidly growing area. And it has really far-reaching implications all the way from the laboratory bench to the patient's bedside. And medical genomics is an emerging medical discipline. Do it like stand up so that you can hear me. All right, so medical genomics is an emerging medical discipline that relies on using this genetic information, this genomic information about an individual to help inform decisions about their clinical care. So we know that research in the field of genetics and genomics is really exploding right now, and we know more about the human genome and about how our genetic information impacts health and our health outcomes than we have ever known before. But the really fast-paced nature of this research and these advancements is creating this widening knowledge gap between cutting-edge genomics research on one hand and current clinical practices, the things that are actually reaching the patient's bedside at the other hand. So this is really driving an emerging need for laboratory professionals and clinicians who can generate, integrate, and interpret that genetic and genomic data. And that's what this program in medical genomics is situated to do. So the professional MHSC in medical genomics is going to place our graduates at the vanguard of that new field of genomic medicine. So we're really orienting ourselves towards a new era of research in clinical science in which genetic and genomic data are routinely being analyzed across a huge range of patient populations and a huge divergence of medical institutions. So our mission is to provide students with unique training and learning opportunities, to teach practical and theoretical aspects of genetics and genomics with a really strong focus on the clinical applications of those genomics tools, and to give our students directly actionable skills and career-enabling experiences so that they can take what they've learned about genetics and genomics and help implement them in the clinic. So there are a number of things that I think makes this professional master's unique. The program is really the first of its kind in Canada, and in fact, there are very few other programs like this anywhere in the world. And so one of the things that makes this program really special is that we are a dual stream program. So we're going to be accepting applications from highly capable students who are in both a clinical or a laboratory stream from really diverse academic backgrounds. And so to enter into the clinical stream, I don't know how many of you guys are thinking about clinical, but to enter into a clinical stream, applicants will need to have completed a PharmD or an equivalent program in pharmacology or pharmacy, a PDEP accredited BSc in food and nutrition, a graduate program as a nurse practitioner, or at minimum 1 year of an undergraduate medical degree. So I don't know how many of you guys fall into that category. The other category is probably the bigger one. To enter into the lab stream, applicants must have completed a 4-year BSc in a relevant discipline. So I've listed a few programs that we know are a good fit here, but this is by no means an exhaustive list. So if you're not sure if you fit into this program, you're not sure if your academic background is compatible with the program, please, I encourage you to reach out and just check. Because there are a lot more programs that would be a great fit for medical genomics than just the ones that I've listed in this tiny text box. So these two streams, clinical and lab, are going to move through the program as a single cohort, and for the most part, they're going to take all of the same classes and engage in all of the same academic activities. And the idea is that these two different student groups are going to provide different voices and different kinds of perspectives as we talk about medical genomics and the impact of genetics and genomics in the clinic. So what does this program actually entail? Well, like most of the programs that you've heard about today, the Medical Genomics Masters is a 2-year professional program, and it consists of a core set of lecture, discussion, and project-based courses. So there is a lot more information about these courses that I've thrown up on the screen here on our program's website. But in brief, generally speaking, students are only going to engage in 2 quite high-contact, intensive courses at a time. So each semester, you'll only be taking 2 courses. And the first year is dedicated primarily to core competencies in the areas of advanced human genetics, biostats, and methods classes. And then the second year focuses more on big picture and application style classes. And the program then culminates in a hands-on, stream-specific capstone practicum. So this capstone practicum is the first and only time during the entire program that the laboratory and clinical streams will diverge in any way to do more professionally appropriate practicum work. So one of the big goals of our program is to give our graduates career-enabling skills that are going to enable them to immediately implement them in a practical professional setting. So with this in mind, our grads can really expect to be suited for a huge variety of different kinds of professional roles. So clinical grads, we expect that our clinical graduates are either going to jump right back into the professional practice that they left to take the program, or they're going to go on to complete their clinical training if they were med students when they entered the program, and then return to professional practice. So just to zoom out a little bit, this specialized knowledge in genetics and genomics is actually becoming a real value add in the clinical job market, especially if you're not planning on becoming a clinical geneticist. So we know that genetics is becoming democratized, and many really highly specialized clinical fields, so for example, things like oncology, pediatrics, neurology, cardiology, the list goes on. Lots of these highly specialized departments are starting to engage with medical genomics in really new, dynamic ways. And some are even beginning to outfit their departments with genetic experts. So there is room for our graduates in these really specialized fields. Lab stream graduates are going to have a huge range of options in terms of careers that they'll be qualified and suited for. So in both clinical and in research labs, genetic and genomic tests are a really growing component of the data that's used to guide clinical treatment and research. And these tests have really progressed from looking at single genes to larger panels of genes to now starting to think about whole exome and whole genome data acquisition. And with that, there's been a really subsequent increase in the complexity of understanding and communicating the results of that data. So with that progress in mind, graduates from the lab stream are going to be ideally suited for work in clinical or research science labs, implementing those tools of genomic medicine. We're also going to have our lab stream grads really attractive to publicly funded enterprises and private companies that are producing and interpreting genomic data. So this could be creating and interpreting data for the clinic or for direct-to-consumer diagnostics labs. So in both streams, the goal here is that our grads are going to be able to exit U of T with a degree that distinguishes them, that enhances their existing professional practice, and that has enabled some new career paths for them. So with that, I will finally wrap up by saying that we are now accepting grad applications for a September 2018 start date. We have 2 application deadlines. Round 1 is in January 2018, the 15th of January, and the second application deadline is in May 1st. It doesn't matter which one you apply for, so unlike some of the other programs, there's not an international and a domestic deadline. Anyone can apply for any deadline. We expect admissions to be relatively competitive. It's going to be a very small cohort this upcoming year. Probably around 15 students will be accepted into the program. If you have any questions about the program or anything that I've said today, I'll be around after all the talks are done for the discussion, so feel free to come and find me or reach out via email, call me in my office, show up at my office, anything you want. Please, I encourage you to check out our website at moleculargenetics.utoronto.ca/medicalgenomics. And with that, I will thank you guys for waiting for such a very long time to see my slideshow. Okay.